In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King Jr. What we are going to do in this video and in this presentation is we are going to go over why do we need an equity policy, how you can help as a student. We're going to do some common language and define it so we can all understand. We're going to look at what the policy is and what it looks like now, and then we're going to need your input and ways to share your thoughts and ideas. So there'll be a survey at the end. If you would prefer to read through these slides on your own, you can skip this slide and read through them on your own. I will just be reading through these. So if you would like to listen to me read through them, just stay here and we'll do that together. So the background, why do we need an equity policy? We live, work, and go to school in a society that is not equal. We can and must work together to change that. As a community, we are committed to equity in all areas. Policies are the rules that tell the school board, superintendent, principals, teachers, and students how our school will run. This equity policy is new to Richfield. As we create the rules for our school, all voices and perspectives, including students, are important. So your roles, your piece of the puzzle, to learn and understand, and to help hold us all accountable. Give ideas, feedback, and perspectives, and then live out the ideals set in our policy. So let's go over some definition, some common language, so we all understand. The first one, anti-racism. The work of actively and consistently opposing racism by advocating for changes in political, economic, educational, and social spheres. Diversity. All the characteristics that make an individual or group different from another. This includes race, ethnicity, gender expression, age, national origin, religion, ability, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, education, language, and more. Educational debt. The result of the historical lack of investment in educating children from marginalized communities, which continue to affect opportunities and achievement for children who are part of those communities today. Equity. The concept of being fair and impartial while acknowledging that society has not afforded the same resources, access, and treatment to everyone, and working to remedy all inequities through action. And our last word is institutional racism. The ways in which policies and practices within an organization create different and predictable outcomes for different racial groups, typically maintaining an advantage for white individuals and simultaneously maintaining a disadvantage for individuals of color. So what the policy looks like now. The purpose of this policy is to provide a district environment in which all students achieve high-level academic outcomes that are not predictable by race, culture, socioeconomic status, language, gender, ethnicity, or any other demographic characteristics. Richfield Public Schools is committed to viewing and analyzing all of our work through a racial and cultural equity lens that intentionally subverts the policies and practices of institutional racism. Through this ongoing anti-racist work, we will identify and interrupt practices and policies that elevate whiteness and perpetuate institutional racism, create learning and working environments that are enriched and improved by the contributions, perspectives, and very presence of diverse participants. Provide a high-quality, personalized educational program with rich opportunities for all students in a real community where each individual is welcome and belongs. Policy commitments. School district administration will provide high-level, culturally relevant curriculum and teaching strategies for all students. Develop and provide equity-focused, anti-racist, and culturally responsive training for staff and students. Work to recruit and employ staff at all levels that reflect the diversity, including racial diversity of enrolled students. Monitor programs and activities to assess them for educational equity. Develop, implement, and sustain materials and assessments that deepen the understanding and appreciation for the differences and uniqueness of each student and staff member. Each school and program will actively seek community input, specifically and actively ensuring that all voices are present to create a welcoming culture and inclusive environment that reflects and supports the racial and cultural diversity of the school's student population, their families, and communities. The superintendent will establish plans and procedures that will accomplish the purpose of this policy, establish goals to help implement the policy, and create reports that show progress towards the goals of this policy and report them to the board and community. Teachers and staff will comply with and execute such plans as are designed to address the values and directions included in this policy. Work with families and students to address the educational debt and dismantle institutional patterns of racism in the Richfield community. Students will be partners in this work and bring their voices to the conversation. Attend and engage in school, knowing that their participation in education and the school community help to make a more equitable society. Families will work with district leaders and staff members to address the educational debt and dismantle institutional patterns of racism in the Richfield community. We will all collaborate to identify and address barriers to achievement and opportunities for academic success. Here's where we need your input. So we need you to take this 3-question survey. The link is right there. Send an email to Christina Gonzalez. Let your teachers know if you think of something later. Reach out to your advisory teacher, which is me. Tell us what you have to say about the RPS equity policy. Remember, your voice matters. Thanks. If you've come to this part in the video, you can skip to slide 15 and complete the survey.